Hey everybody, Jimmy with the Triple C Collective here, and with me is my guest.
Jeff Kersey, hello.
Welcome back, Jeff. Now, you guys may remember Jeff from popping in on Screen 3. Today, though, we are talking about King Kong 2005 from director Peter Jackson. And so it's celebrating a 20-year anniversary. No better time to release this pod around the 20-year anniversary. But Jeff, before we dive into this movie, my first question I have for you is, when King Kong as a character, as an entity, as a movie, whatever, when did that first come into your life?
I was thinking about this and I really can't remember because I feel like I've always known like sort of the iconography of King Kong from as early as I can remember. Like the fucking beast on top of the Empire State Building, swiping at the planes, the damsel screaming, and it's all that black and white, that imagery. I don't know when that happened. But I do remember my dad showing me the 1976 version with Jeff Bridges and
Yep,
Jessica Lange, where I'm
yep.
like, okay, but I don't remember too much about that movie. Although I know ish the structure of it resembled in small ways what's Peter Jackson's film in the original film.
Mm-hmm.
It was just sort of like a modern version of the story rather than it being set when the film was originally made. But yeah, it was always there. There was always a 25-foot gorilla standing on an Empire State Building, living rent free in my brain wherever I go.
You know what? I've got to be honest. That's probably the same with me. Like, I know that my grandpa actually like loved those old movies. Like, so he would like. I remember him talking to my brother about being blown away about seeing Planet of the Apes for the first time in theaters, the original Charlton Heston and stuff, and just being
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Oh my
yeah.
god! Like this stuff is just crazy." And so like he always had a he was a big like wow when they could like make you believe, and like that's really something that's like imprinted on me. Like most of the movies that I love that are big spectacle and stuff, it's like when you sell me on what you're trying to show me, like I'm in. Like I'm in.
Totally.
I'll enjoy it. Like the dinosaurs never looked more real in Jurassic Park. That movie is like imprinted on like our generation's like brain the same way that Star Wars was for like even our parents and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so King Kong was always there. And I like just kaijus, Godzilla, all of this stuff, like all the little stop motion stuff, like the Phil Tippett kind of things. Like, man, this is just like my bread and butter. Like gimme, 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 gimme.
Totally. Totally.
Uh,
Totally. 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 Would be like
now,
samesies.
now in 2005, this would have been when we were like us and our group of friends would have been like originally cutting our teeth with like going to movies and stuff. Do you remember seeing this in theaters? Because this would have possibly been like a Christmas movie we saw. It was released, I think, early December in 2005. But do you have any remember like any memories of the theater experience of it?
I don't only know the only thing I knew from seeing it in theaters because I for sure saw it in theaters and I think I saw it a couple times in theaters. Um, but my memory is just it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist at all. Um, but I remember seeing it in theaters and I remember like absolutely loving it and for so many reasons that were actually just like applicable to me at the time. Because yeah, that was when we were cutting our teeth, like going to movies and hanging out. But also, I think it was around the time that when we were in sort of like not our heyday, but like when we were like making our movies and
Mm-hmm.
running around with our cameras and doing and um, editing things in what iMovie or whatever it was or Movie Maker. I had the
Yeah,
Movie
Windows
Maker app.
Movie Maker.
Windows Movie Maker, baby, bring it back, bring it back.
I would love
Oh my god. Um, and and so I remember loving it so much because seeing trailers for it, seeing the sort of lead up, already we had it's Peter Jackson's King Kong, so I'm like, fuck yeah, Peter Jackson. Oh, but wait, no,
It
yes. I was like, wait, 2005. Yes, now I'm correct. Um, but I was always into the making of a movie
Mhm.
almost more than I was into the movies that I was watching themselves. I just loved it. I love the lore. I love the lore of a good making of a good like, and knowing that Peter Jackson was going back to like the 1930s representation, the 1920s representation of King Kong, and then seeing somebody like Jack Black is going to be in this movie, and I feel like this was like right before movies were like what they are now, which are they're like movies. Like I feel like even movies then were actually still films. It wasn't part of a franchise. It wasn't part of like, of course, the huge spectacle of what King Kong was, and
Yeah.
it being an action film. But there's still a film in there. So knowing that, and wanting to be a filmmaker myself at the time, and knowing Peter Jackson is like almost making this like love letter to the 1930s original, and I loved anything set in the 1930s, and then seeing just actors I knew in it at like the lead up was like everything to me. I was like,
Mhm.
this is going to be fucking amazing, and it was. I was like, yes. It was even better. It was like he was filming the crew filming the original King Kong, but then the King Kong events happened to the crew because they were trying to film. I loved all of that. But yeah, because when we were around that age, that's when we were trying to do all that stuff. And when I was cranking out new scripts every other week, I was giving it
Right?
to you guys and being like, read this.
Read
Um,
this. Let's do this. Yeah.
exactly. Um, oh my God, it would, side tangent in the movie makerness of it all.
Mhm.
I just recalled the other day, the time in third grade when I tried to get my entire class to do a play version of Titanic. And yes, and I cast everybody. Some people were double cast, some people were triple cast. They were playing all cut like Captain E.J. Smith. I think she played Rose's mother as well. At some point, we did a couple recess rehearsals, and it all fell apart. But that, but so like this type of endeavor of a film, from Peter Jackson's perspective, I'm just like, I get it. Like
Yeah.
you have such a deep love for something, and you get to tell your story, your version.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just remembering that moment of me in third grade. Yeah,
Well, it's also interesting that you bring up like the making ofs and stuff because without a doubt, like for anyone at home, if you've never watched them, but the appendices to the Lord of the Rings is some of the best film school without going to film school that you'll ever get. Like
ever.
hands down, top to bottom. From talking about script, that's something I wish that they talked about a little bit more, if I'm being honest. But that's me watching that for over 20 years now and being like, you know what, you guys don't really talk enough about that. But beside the point, it's really some
Yeah,
of the best film school overall, top to bottom, of working with all sorts of different people, all sorts of different departments, people having good days, people having bad days, and how to navigate, and as like he says, keeps the train on the tracks. And one of the things that he continues to do in King Kong is the Kong is King. Do you remember this website? KongIsKing.com, the production diaries that
oh
like
yeah.
he would put up like anywhere from 30 to like an hour long video about what they were doing for like that week or like that month. And like again, continuing the behind the scenes like love of how, how the how the meat's made, how the dinner's made or whatever.
Yeah,
And
I was bummed because I bought King Kong on Apple, so I can watch it again. Um, but I didn't realize I didn't see the two version thing, so I didn't see that there was extended because I was like, where are the special features? I want to watch the special
Hmm.
features, like and we know very well a Peter Jackson movie is going to come chock a
Yeah.
block with some dope special features, but yeah, they weren't on there. But I do remember that website. I do remember those little diaries coming out, and it just like it
Hmm.
was giving me just so much hype, just so much hype.
So like that's what I remember because at
Hmm.
that point in time, like I don't really remember seeing it in theaters. I do remember my initial reaction was kind of mixed though. I didn't love it, nor did I hate it, but I was kind of like there were things that bothered me, and even in the rewatch, like at this point, 20 years later, nitpicking it, there are still some things that bother me that are like super minor, and it's just at the point of like it's like I've watched this movie now for like so long, re-going back to it and stuff. Like that some of the skylines, some of the skies bother me. They just look so fake.
Oh, sure.
Is
Yeah,
what
sure,
bothers
sure,
me.
sure.
And like, what am I doing here? Like, that's what I'm critiquing here. Oh, okay, but whatever. We can move
Yeah,
on.
totally.
I'll digress. But the cast, like you talked about
Oh,
Jack Black. Um, Naomi Watts, one of my favorite stories Naomi Watts tells is David Lynch convincing her to do this movie. Because
really?
this movie is post them doing Mulholland Drive. And
Yep.
so like she was meeting with David Lynch for like a lunch or whatever, they were catching up. And he like she's like, yeah, so I might do King Kong, and be Andero and everything in it. And she's just like, I don't know if it's like the right move. I don't know if it's like the right move for me. And David Lynch, just being David Lynch, is like, Naomi, anyone who sits in the hand of Kong will become a star, will become a movie star. And like he's not wrong. Like,
No, he's
because like
not.
Mulholland Drive is like what made her, right? With Lynch. And then I like King Kong is probably the next biggest thing that she does with like huge cast. The guy coming from Lord of the Rings and just winning the best director and best film, one of the
Yep.
only science fiction or one of the only fantasy films to ever do that, coming back to do like swinging at Kong and stuff.
Wow. Just
Which is even funnier that they started doing Kong originally before Lord of the Rings. They tried doing it before Lord of the Rings in
they did. Yeah,
1996,
that's
and
right.
it fell apart because Mighty Joe Young and Godzilla. They were like, we don't want to be the third monster movie, and Peter Jackson was like, all right, whatever, I'll go make Lord of the Rings. And then they were
Yeah.
like, Universal was like, come back, please, please come
Right.
back.
Totally. Yeah. Wait. Hey, can we talk to you just real quick? We got some stuff we want to.
But
But
I love that Naomi Watts story of David Lynch telling that Jack Black is a complete asshole in this movie, and it's like this is the movie that kind of is like the last time we see that kind of performance from him, because I think in 2005 we are also getting School of Rock, so he has
yes.
the two sides to that coin. And I think after this, then we get like the Kung Fu Panda and stuff, and he just kind of starts playing into that like happy-go-luckier kind of guy, which I'm not like hating on. It's just like I just remember watching this and I was like, this is just such not like who I think of as Jack Black now as an actor.
100%. And that was another big draw for me for the movie. In that, like, I was like, oh, Jack Black is doing something different here. Like, uh, I wouldn't call it. It kind of was like a dramatic turn. Like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
comedian actors will do like a couple drama movies and stuff. But again, it was before like movies were like movie like the
Mm-hmm.
way they are now. Before you would see like, oh, there's a comedian in a Marvel movie now or whatever, and that or Jack Black's. Speaking of Jack Black, like the Jumanji franchise, like stuff like that. Um, so I was just like, this is going to be interesting. Jack Black in the hands of Peter Jackson, in that world, and knowing what Peter built with Lord of the Rings, I'm like, that's going to be cool. That
Right.
and it still holds up to this day. He still has maybe just a squidge too much Jack Black, not too much Jack Black, but like there are times where I'm just like, well, I'm watching Jack Black, um,
Mhm.
as Carl Denham, as opposed to Carl Denham. But then there are moments where I'm like, there's Carl, you
Yeah,
did it,
right.
good job, because Jack Black is a really good actor. He's
Absolutely.
really, really good, especially when he was like younger too. Like before we even knew who he was,
Yeah.
I was like, he was doing great shit.
Yeah.
And it just so happens he's a brand because he's such a entity. He's just such a character of a person that put him in anything and he's going to be hey
And then he
like
started multitasking with like Tenacious D and stuff. So like
yeah,
aside
oh
from
yeah,
like just the acting, he started doing his music with Kyle
hmm
Gass and whatnot. Um, this is also an interesting time for Adrian Brody because this is right around the time where he wins his first Oscar for The Pianist, which is I think the next year. I think it's actually 2006 is where he wins that Best Actor Oscar because he like
really,
yeah he was the youngest Oscar Best Actor Oscar winner.
wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, when he won for because he was like 30,
Yeah.
maybe a little less, maybe 30, maybe a little older at max like 34 years old. But yeah, he was like one of the youngest, if not the youngest, like best actor Oscar winner.
Okay, because what did he do before King Kong?
Um, Off the
Because he
top of
was
my
in
head,
sort of the zeitgeist of things.
yeah, this is like what kind of leads to that pinnacle for him, almost to let's see, Adrian. Oh no, The Pianist was 2002, so this is after his Oscar win.
Okay, great. That
Okay,
and I was
so this is
wondering just
post Oscar
because,
win.
yeah,
Um, but damn, 2002 still, that's
still,
crazy.
yeah. And I think was this. I'm like, now was this before or after SNL Gate, where he did that like Rastafarian intro that Lauren Michaels didn't approve or something like that, and now he can never host SNL ever again.
It's probably around that time because I would
Probably around
assume
that time.
I would assume that after getting the Oscar, because he doesn't really do much. He's just kind of like a he shows up in a few things. Like he's in Summer of Sam, he's in Thin Red Line, but he's like most of his
Yeah.
stuff in Thin Red Line gets like kind of cut out. Um, and he's in Angels in the Outfield, which I kind of forgot about. I didn't even realize he shows up in that. So yeah, he kind of has all these small things, but his first like real role then is the pianist that gives him the Oscar and whatnot. And he shows up in the village and does all that then. King
Oh yeah,
Kong.
the village. Yeah. Oh yeah, the village.
And
Oh
then
god.
Hollywoodland, and then he gets involved with Wes Anderson with Darjeeling Limited,
Yeah,
and
that's
and
right.
then he kind of gets into that Wes Anderson machine.
Yeah, totally. Um, I just I want to do a shout out, and this may or may not be also for our dear friend Becky Randall. I just want to give a shout out to the other cast member with Adrian Brody, and that's Adrian Brody's hair in this movie. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's just dark and black and the perfect shit. I just, all I can do, all watching this movie this time around, all I was watching was just like his perfect hair. I was like, wow, it's just beautiful.
It's just so
It's
good.
giving everything. And then give me a pop collar, trench coat moment with you, Adrian. And that's all I need. I'm so sorry you're such a controversial person,
Right.
uh, but yeah, they did right by you in this one. So I just wanted to give the extra shout out to the other cast member that came with them.
One of my other favorite people that pop up in this movie is Colin Hanks. And it's also the
Love
reunion
it.
of Jack Black and Colin Hanks from Orange County in
Yes, it
2002.
is. Yes, it
Um,
is.
we also get Jamie Bell, who just like continues to just pop up in all of these random things. And I think it's like in like his contracts that like he has to have a dancing scene of some kind in it.
Uh huh.
I
Yeah.
mean, like that, like I'm not even trying to not. the dude's amazing. And like watching the behind the scenes making of this stuff, like everybody on set, it's just like it's crazy. He's like, I don't want to toot my own horn, but he's like, I literally have been dancing my whole life, so like I can catch on to things easier, like pretty easy. And it's like, yeah, it's the idea of like doing the 10,000 hours after you do something so many times. Like, yeah, you will become good at it.
You're a master of it. Yeah.
Like you should be able to like master it or have a way around it and stuff. But even just a couple of dancing scenes that they do, and even Naomi Watts, that like vaudeville stuff that she's doing at the beginning, like
Oh yeah.
fantastic, man. Like that is some great stuff. And like one of my favorite opening things of this movie is like where she gets the mustache put on, like she just kind of turns and they refix her mustache and she goes back out there.
Yep.
Just the real time of like stage and like theater of like getting it done and everything. It's so fun. So fun.
Yeah, I
This
love it.
movie opens so fun while it also being so bleak. But
Yeah.
do you have anything else about our cast here before we start
Um,
diving into the plot?
um, uh, well, I love me a Kyle Chandler. I love me a Kyle Chandler.
Yeah.
I think he was perfect for Bruce Baxter
He's so
in
good.
this movie. He's so good, and it's just everything about that character worked exactly how it was, and I just love that it was Kyle Chandler. But this was, I think this was pre Friday Night Lights, like
He like
pre.
he films this before, like I think Friday Night Lights may end up coming out in like 2005 or 2006 as well. But yeah, this is like the last thing he does before he gets sucked into the Friday Night Lights machine, and does that for however many 5 7 seasons, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Before then he like gets out of that and starts doing like Super 8 and a bunch of like movies then
Yes.
post it. Like he's Super 8 is still just like a fantastic movie. It's, oh man, I fucking love that movie. But
Me too. Me too.
so diving into the plot of this, I basically in our notes I broke it down into 3 hours. Because that's this movie, the theatrical cut 3 hours and runs 3 hours and 7 minutes. The extended cut runs 3 hours and 20 minutes. And
Oh,
so the additional 13 minutes, it's not crazy. It's not like what we were it's not like Return of the King, that where we get a 3 hour movie to a 4.5 hour movie. You're like, you're
okay.
only getting
Yeah.
13 additional minutes. And if I'm being honest, most of it is on Skull Island. It's like there's an extended Adrian Brody kind of like water scene underwater where he's kind of like fighting an alligator type thing that you see the swamp, that whole swamp like portion of it on top. There's another part though, like where he's like underwater. It looks odd. It looks like a weird Aquaman kind of thing, if I'm being honest,
Oh,
of
sure. Okay.
how he just like looks underwater. So I get why, like, yeah, we'll put that in the extended, but we won't put that in the theatrical for it. But
Yeah.
it's really random things like that. Just a few shots here and there. It's not like it's not huge character changes or like whole characters get cut out or something like that, like he did in like doing the extended versions for Lord of the Rings. Um, but this first hour is all the setup of New York and then the 10 minutes of getting to Skull Island when they're in the water.
Yep.
Um, I just gotta ask for this first hour that this whole setup of Naomi Watts, the vaudeville, Jack Black, and like the producer meeting at the start of it. Is there anything that like really stands out for you that you loved, or like when you saw it, or every time you rewatch it, you're like, yes, I love this bit, I love this section, this scene, whatever it is.
Um, I feel like there's a couple things. I feel like the the opening, literally the opening of the movie with the opening song, "I'm Sitting on Top of the World,"
Yeah.
like with a montage of just the depression, just like I just loved the sort of, I guess, dichotomy, if that's the right word or not, but like the juxtaposition of that. The
Yes.
I just loved that was our intro, and it took us right into kind of what the rest of the movie was really going to expound on, the sort of like bleak reality, but a need for like the exploitation of, you know, yeah, like, and you see all the people, all the unhoused people, and just how bleak everything was while they're still trying to build and create this epic thing, like, this epic city. Um, so it stuck out to me even more just like watching it this time around. And I was like, oh yeah, that's great, and it's a little catchy tune, isn't it? A
Yeah.
little catchy. I'm sitting on top of the world. And I'm just like, yeah, like give me a 1930s little tune, little pick me up tune while I'm trying to put food on the table. Um, uh, I'm a professional actor, and all the theater things with Anne and her troupe,
Hmm.
I loved, and a little moment of what's his face from Shawshank Redemption,
Yeah.
Brooks,
Yep.
little Brooks cameo. The only issue and it stood out to me this time, the only issue I had with that was I really loved that Anne had this relationship, you know, uh, with that character. But when the theater, when the theater closes, Anne maybe says like two words or something, and then Brooks comes in with this like expository monologue on top of like her facial reactions, like he's talking to her, but it's like, I don't know if it was, maybe if she had other lines that were like cut out so they can just kind of get to the meat of what the scene was, but it just felt like a little too much too soon. He's like, oh no, Annie, the theater's closed. I know what you're thinking, Annie. My whole life has just been nothing but, bad turns and bad luck. But listen, Annie, you gotta. And he's basically like giving her, giving us her life story by telling it to her. And I just thought, I was like, maybe there was a better way but you got to get that stuff out and in the movie and out of the way so that we can carry that with us while we're going. But I was just like, to have a whole moment that's all about Anne and where she's starting in this whole, film,
Hmm.
spoken aloud by another character to her, while all we get is like the facial reaction, the beautiful facial reactions of Naomi Watts.
Naomi
I was
Watts
just
kills it. She's great in this.
crushes. She just crushes. And we're gonna talk about her.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, but that just stuck out to me this time, where I was like, Peter, Fran, Philippa,
Philippa.
come on, y'all! Like, it was giving like a Lord of the Rings movie monologue, because there's a ton of them and a ton of moments like that in the Lord of the Rings films, but they work in the Lord of the Rings films just the way they're set up. And this time around, I was like, I don't. This wasn't the time for like a 3.5 minute
Right.
Brooks only moment. You know what I mean? Like, basically just describing her feelings rather than her them interacting and us just kind of gleaning what we need to as
Yeah.
viewers. Um, but anyways, but that was just like a moment I put in my notes. I was like, that was interesting. But of course, I still love it. Um, and then I like, and this is another reason why I love this movie so much, because of Legos. Legos did a lot for me in the going into this movie, because Legos around, I mean, before that, um, they had released quite a few things. They released, there was like an adventurer like Lego set, or
Hmm.
like line, and it was like these like 30s adventurers. They had these like cool hats. It was just so cool. I don't know if anybody remembers this. If you do, hell yeah. Um, and it just always put me into like the fantasy of an adventure movie, an adventure, just something like that. And then they also had the Steven Spielberg movie maker, stop motion camera movie maker brand line, where they gave you a stop motion camera and you could make stop motion animation, and you had an editing software and you could make stop motion animation with your with your
Legos.
Legos. And so they had these, it was like a movie set with each of these like things that you would buy. And it was basically a disaster movie. There was like a big Tyrannosaurus Rex head that was just the head, and you would open it, but they had the movie gear of like, oh, this is a part of the set. They had the director's chair. They had a director's like crane lift with the guy with the camera, and they had crew people. And then they also had the people who were in the movie. And then the rest of the sort of set was a movie set. Um, so I remember using that, and I would make little adventure movies with my adventure people with the movie maker set, and do all that kind of stuff. So a lot of this was feeding me, from when I was a
Yeah.
kid, years and years before, going into this. So a lot of uh, the wanting and needing to make this like film, especially coming from Carl Denham, and the lead up to all of
Hmm.
that. I don't know. It was just ingrained in that. So I just love the build of like, we're gonna make this movie. We're gonna go on this big adventure. We're gonna take this ship. We got this motley crew, and here we go, off
Right.
into the unknown. And we're just with a dream and a prayer. That's all we're gonna do. And a gorgeous girl right here, good looking writer, and off we go. I don't know. It just spoke to. I don't know if any of that made sense, but it just spoke to the kid in me. And so that whole hour, I feel like was me just getting giddy about what was to come. Um,
Nice.
and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
This first hour, I love the initial producer scene. I just think it's so funny that he goes in there, he leaves, and then like Colin Hanks is like, "It's not alcoholic, you won't like it," and he's like, just pours it out, starts listening, like,
Yeah. He's like, you have a lot to learn about the movie business, President. And he
yeah.
puts it up there. Yeah,
So I love that. I also love the like dinner meeting between Naomi Watts and Jack Black for the first time. That
yeah,
scene is awesome because like he's like, Miss Darrow, are you a size 4? And she's like, what? And he's like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not that kind of
yeah.
person. You can trust me. I'm
Yes,
a movie
yes,
producer. And it's like
yes,
that whole thing is just a great line of like, oh, you can trust me. I'm a movie producer. And I know I fucking can't, but and he also lies to her about Singapore there. But it's really when they're talking about the love story and like how she's like, but she doesn't trust it. And then Jack Black's like, he leans in. He's like, but why? And then like they start going back and forth about their stuff. I love that scene. I just think
yeah.
it's
Me too.
so I just think it's just great.
It's fantastic.
It's a great way to see the way that like she starts thinking about being like, oh, I really can, maybe I can do this because I have an idea. Like, look at him on how he's reacting to me in this moment and stuff. And then she's like, when they see the ship, she's like, is that the movie ship? Oh, no, 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 we're over here.
Actually, no, it's this one.
It's
Oh,
actually
and that
this one.
reminds me, one of my favorite shots in the movie is when Jack Black goes to like basically, the strip club,
Yeah.
to try to find an actor last minute, and when he like walks up to the door and through the reflection sees Anne, and Anne in this moment of choice.
Yep.
And I wanted to be like, girl, been there. Not like I was gonna be in a strip club or anything, but just like where you have so much hope for what you want your life to be, and you're at a sort of a crossroads, and just seeing just her eyes in that moment in the reflection, and Jack Black sees her. I love that shot
It's
so much.
so good. It
It's
is
beautiful.
absolutely, it's absolutely amazing. And then I mean, for the most part, then we get we go to Skull Island. We get a couple of really cool like water crashes into the rocks and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but really the bulk of like where I really like it is when we get onto Skull Island now. Like that whole second
Yes.
hour um is is pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
probably some of my, if I'm being honest, being on Skull Island with like the monsters and the creatures. It like I love Godzilla and all that stuff. I still love it. I like some of my favorite, like one of my favorite things I own on physical media is the Showa era Criterion collection of Godzilla. It has all like it has the entire series from 1954 to like 1972 or 75 before they start doing their next era of it, and it's just a beautiful thing. And I just love people in suits being monsters beating up other monsters.
Hey,
Like
love it.
we before we started officially recording this podcast, we were talking about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's all in that same vein. Like
Uh-huh.
I still love that shit so much. And it's actually something watching like the making of that, like Andy Serkis kind of comes back to do some motion capture for being Kong, the same way that he was doing it for Gollum in the Lord of the Rings movies, and then now like we all know Andy Serkis as like the motion capture guy. He does great performances, like the new Planet of the Apes movies, fantastic as Caesar, like
Oh,
incredible,
fantastic, fantastic.
incredible stuff that he's doing.
Oh,
And like,
before we even move on, because you mentioned it, Matthew Broderick's Godzilla, does it actually slap? We'll talk about it later. That's going to be on the next podcast. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Does
oh,
it
for sure.
isn't it actually a banger? But we'll unpack that at a different time. Um, uh, but I mean, Andy Serkis's Kong, like to me, watching Kong in this whole movie, I'm like, you are played by an actor. That actor is Andy Serkis.
Yeah,
Just completely like we have the stop motion, but I think the performance in the eyes, everything. I think I'm like, that is all Andy Serkis. Like
right.
an interpretation of this animal. And I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. He's great. I love it too. I also love his I love his dual role as like Lumpy as well, like the little like crewman and whatnot. Because like I get it. He's an actor, so he wants to still be truly on screen and seen. He has no problem doing the motion capture because he understands like the importance of it. But it's also like I also would like to like be really on screen. And it's a little bit different with Gollum, right? You know, like he doesn't have like Golem's still kind of a humanoid creature. I mean, it's like a demented hobbit basically, or a tortured
Yeah.
hobbit basically. But either way, I get the idea of him being like, well, like being a big gorilla is one thing. I kind of would like to to have a
Yeah.
speaking role in it, which is great. Now here on Skull Island, we get crazy things. We get the Islander, like the Islanders natives that like live there that steal Anne, which is some of just like that.
The way those Islanders, like when they first jump, the like small little crew with Carl Denham, and they kill his sound guy, and they beat up and they kill a couple of the crew members. The way that's just still one of the most terrifying bits of imagery. Of like, it just like those Islanders went fucking hard.
Yeah.
That was like some hardcore shit, and they were terrifying looking. Like just their whole, and that old woman just like Torre Kong over. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, and the little kid. Okay, yeah, but those Islanders are some of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
It is. It adds a real horror to it that like before like for Kong, like yeah, I'd seen the 76 version too, but I definitely have watched the original like more. And like I watch it more because I'm a huge fan of like the stop motion portions of it. Like it's really 1933. It is a phenom that they were able to do that. The rare projections of stuff. Like Like it's really a very innovative, technically innovative movie. And like I get where like if you watch that movie, like it unlocks something in your brain. You know, like
Totally.
it can totally, because that's what like Peter Jackson talks about it. He's like he saw 1930, he saw the original Kong, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to become a filmmaker." Like, you know, that was
Yep.
his movie that
Totally.
was like, I'm going to become a filmmaker now and all of that. And he eventually got to realize his dream and making his own version of King Kong, which is pretty crazy. So, like, everyone at
Yeah.
home, never give up on your dreams. Like, keep
No,
chasing them.
never.
You never
Keep
know when
doing
it's
it.
going to happen.
Uh-huh.
But some of my favorite stuff in this are like on Skull Island are the monsters and the creatures that we get, like from all the creepy little crawly bugs and stuff
Oh,
to like the
oh,
T-Rex fight, the Brontosaurus stampede. Like,
oh yeah. The Brontosaurus Stampede is unbelievable. Um, the way what are the bugs called that end up in your house? Like the giant freaking
oh, like the
centipedes?
centipedes, millipedes, or
Yeah.
whatever.
But yeah, that'll pop up and they just scare the shit out of you in your house. And you're just like, you're so gross. The way I think I hate them so much because of this movie, specifically those things that eat Andy Serkis's character Lumpy, like the fucking like the way they just like
Oh yeah,
and
those
just
slug worm things. Yep.
suck them up. So me facing a millipede in my apartment is the same level of battle, horror, blood, tears that 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 I see watching this movie. Basically, those millipedes are those creatures. That's what I'm fighting. That's what I'm fighting. Peter Jackson's insane insect sequence. Every time I see a millipede, and I'm like, "Fuck you!" And I just lose my shit. That is it. But oh
That's so
my
awesome.
god. And it's still just one of the creepiest sequences for me. I don't know if it's one of the creepiest sequences in film ever. You know, I'm not gonna like do anything like that. People will kill me. But like still the way that just whole and what I noticed this time around, specifically in that scene, and when the T-Rex fight with Kong ends up in the vines,
Mm-hmm.
there's no music. There's just the sound effects of the creatures and no one's
Yeah.
really talking. Yeah. So it just like you hear the and just the clicking clacking of the little legs and stuff. Oh my god. Oh my god. And then they bring the music in like towards the end of these sequences. But I just thought like, oh, that just makes it so much worse. Just makes it so much worse to have nothing underscoring this, but the silence and the I'm just thinking about it right now. And I think it was a great way for Lumpy to go
Yeah.
chopping chopping him with a machete. Like he could have made it. Yeah,
Yeah. He
uh,
tried.
he tried. He really did.
Want to see his boy Cho again.
I know. Well, yeah. I was like, live for joy. Come on, live. You can make it. But no, you don't.
No, no.
No. But yeah, I mean, the whole Skull Island sequence is just
Yeah, I mean,
unbelievable.
it's just so great. Once we get over the wall, it's kind of like that idea of like going into the land of wonder, basically. Like on the other side of the wall is the real world, or the world that we've come to know, and then on the other side of this wall is this like whole unknown world of mystery. And
Yeah,
like I love that Kong versus T-Rex battle. Like it's
it
still like with that last T-Rex, Kong rips open the mouth, rips its tongue out, spits the tongue out, and then breaks the jaw apart, and then slams the jaw inside
slams into its
into
own
its
brain.
bone.
Yeah, yes. You know
It's
what? This
so
was the first.
gnarly.
I don't. I mean, I'm sure I did when I was a kid, but like watching it this time, I was like, I remember him basically ripping, the T Rex's face apart. But I didn't remember him ripping the fucking thing's tongue out first with
Me
his fucking
neither.
teeth. It was so, I was like, damn, that's why you king. That is why you are king. Yes, king.
Right?
Yes. I was like, holy shit. Loved, like, not even Kong versus T Rex. We're gonna do Kong versus three.
3.
Three. I mean, is it the full murder of an entire family? Sure.
Sure.
Like, like the mother, she was already widowed, so she had her 2 kids with her. She's just trying. They're just trying to eat. They're just trying to live. And then King Kong comes around, murders all of them, you know?
Actually,
That's cool.
in the special features, it is a female, it is a male bull, and it is their child. So the female one is the biggest one, the child is the smallest one, and then the male adult is like the medium sized one in between.
Do we know which one is the last one that's ripped apart?
The last one I believe is the female one.
Yeah, okay.
Is the female bull leader, I believe is what they refer to her as.
I feel for her because wow, she just lost. Hubby went over the cliff. Fucking, I don't remember what happened to the second one. How they
I
killed the
think
second one.
the second one was the I think
Oh, he smashed it with a rock.
yeah. I think the
Okay.
kid one gets tossed over the cliff, and then the other
Yeah.
one gets smashed with the rock, and then the other one gets their jaw ripped open and face
Yeah.
smashed in and tongue ripped out. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, that is, I feel like what we do to mothers anyway is just rip their faces apart,
Right.
smash their whole skulls. Just like that's a perfect metaphor for the way we treat our mothers, or the way we treat women. I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah, no. That's very good. It's very applicable to today. And she just had to watch her husband go over the cliff, and then her fucking child's get face smashed with a fucking rock. Just, that's a tragedy. I want that movie. I want the movie leading up
From
to
the T-Rex's family perspective.
That's the movie. That's the movie I want. That's the sequel. That'll be the next one. Oh, a little prequel. Yeah. It's just what an incredible feat of filmmaking, and it's a great sequence.
And then more or less, basically, Carl's camera breaks here. He also then decides to use Jack going after Anne to lure Kong back to capture Kong.
Yep.
Tells Eaglehorn, the ship captain, being like, hey, we can still get out of this, still come out of this okay. We can, you capture animals, right? You got a whole boat full of chloroform over there, which is also one of the craziest scenes in the world, where you just see the cases and cases of chloroform in the hull of the ship, and it's just like, oh, this just took a weird turn.
Yeah, got real weird real fast. I think I always knew, but maybe I just, because story structure on a high schooler wasn't always wasn't there for me, maybe. But I never realized that Jack Black is the villain.
Yeah.
Not even man being the villain of the beast.
Yeah.
Jack Black, Carl Denham, is the bad guy in the movie, played by Mr. Schneebly. I'm like, perfect.
His this whole movie, at least in the sense of hubris, just think of the hubris of it all. Carl Denham's, you talked about the writing of that monologue at the beginning. You're like, Peter, Fran, Philippa, there's a little bit of hubris even with them writing that, of being like, nah, it's okay, nobody will care, we're fine, we did it in Lord of the Rings, we're fine.
Yeah,
and it's
totally.
just like, no, but nonetheless, again, when you watch a movie for 20 years, all you can do is kind of find a nitpick at a certain point. Like for
Sure.
me, like I said, like the Skull Island, like the morning skies that they show us in kind of the shipping scene and like the sailing scenes and like on Skull Island just kind of annoy me because I know they are just it's just not a real sky because they talk about like Peter Jackson talks about how much he wanted to use CGI after like what they were able to do with Lord of the Rings of like kind of combining it. He's like, no, we're pushing it forward, going to do all CGI. And again, if I'm being honest, the thing that I really care about, did Kong look good in this movie when it comes to the CGI? And yes, Kong looks great in this film.
Unbelievable.
So like
Unbelievable.
for all of my like nitpicking of like the sky not looking good, credit where credit is due. Kong looks great, and if Kong didn't look great, this movie is absolutely fucked.
Yep.
Like there's no redemption. Like the thing that was so great about 1933 was that you made the stop motion monkey gorilla Kong like work
Yes.
and you made it work with like what you were trying to do. You made the big hand for her to just have that close up shot in it and whatnot. Like, um, it's just great. And this last hour, rewatching it, this last hour has like some of my like one of my favorite scenes, if I'm being honest. And it's the whole Kong like I mean, so we get the capture. They throw a bunch of chloroform on him. Finally, they throw like what Carl Denham, I think it is. Jack Black
Yeah.
throws that third one that hits like Kong right in the face and is like the final like knockout for him.
Yeah.
They bring him back to New York, and as we all know, they're trying to make he's a showman. He wants to put on a
Yep.
picture show.
Yep.
So, they're setting up the big Kong event, the opening night of
Mm-hmm.
it. And we have the show, we have Kong, we have Kyle Chandler coming back as Bruce Baxter as like the hero and stuff. Um, and what we get is the classic meltdown of Kong here, and it's great, man. Like it's so great. The destruction of this theater and Kong freaking out over the lights, over the camera, over the flashes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how,
Totally.
how how is this for you? What did you love about this? If you love,
There's a bunch of things about this whole movie and this rewatch specifically that like because I like and sure we'll talk about it. Um, but specifically with Act Three, with in Back to the City, I never really like cared too much about Act Three. Like growing up, like it was great. Obviously, it's the the climax of the movie. Um, but watching it this time around, it was just so like tragic and moving, like the
yeah,
whole thing, and like the fact that like when he's chained up there and they fucking fake him out with a fake Anne and he's like so distraught.
hurt,
He's
yeah,
so hurt. Um and then after he destroys the theater and goes out onto the streets and he's picking up all these blonde women. First of all, that's just so funny, him picking up these blonde women and just tossing them. It's perfect. Um, but but what's happening there to him and his emotional sort of journey?
yeah,
He's looking for his friend.
yeah,
He's looking for his friend, and I was just like, there were so many moments like there's there were so many more moments where I was like finding myself like close to tears watching this than ever having watched it ever before, um, and just seeing him in that. But I loved that the whole the awfulness of that whole theater sequence, like the exploitation uh,
right,
that's happening there. And also one of my favorite moments too of the theater sequence is when like most of everybody's out, but it's just Kong, or it's just Adrian Brody's character in the in the seats, and Kong like just like turns and just you could just see it, like he's just like,
Oh,
you
did you notice though?
motherfucker.
Kong snips right before that turn. So Kong recognizes Adrian Brody's smell,
Pretty smell.
and that's what makes him turn, but still gives that I know you look.
Like,
You
yeah,
took her
just like
from me.
you motherfucker. Yeah, I loved it. I love that. Um, and are we going into the rest of the New York
Yeah, we're
city
gonna keep
scene? Do you
talking
want
about the whole third act here. Yeah, the
um
whole rest of the movie, the last hour, yeah, to the
the
end.
uh the sequence of, and it could get maybe just a touch cheesy, but I don't care, that them sliding around in the snow
That's what I
on
was
the
gonna say is
ice.
my favorite scene.
Oh, mine too. Mine too.
It's so
It's
sweet.
beautiful. It's
It like it adds such a I know initially, like initial watch, like back in like '05 or '06, like, seeing it in theaters or like the first time on home video, definitely found that like super cheesy, but I was like, 16 years old and I was like, a punk, a little punk.
yeah, right,
And
exactly.
so
We're
like
like,
so
kill
like six
more blonde women.
yeah.
Fucking
Can't take what 16-year-old me says seriously anymore. But watching this, it was like it really adds to the tragedy of the story of Kong. Like seeing that moment
yeah.
of like true peace and harmony, then literally obliterated by a tank starting to shoot out the water and stuff to
Oh,
start the whole chase through the city to get up to the Empire State Building.
yeah.
Um,
And like the way even this time around, like before even going into the watch, I'm like, oh yeah, this sort of like classic action adventure movie, um, as told by Peter Jackson, blah blah blah. But then, especially when we get to Skull Island and then through the rest of the movie, I'm like, oh no, this movie's a fucking tragedy. It's like Kong dies because he tried to love, like,
yeah,
and not in a romantic way either. Like both Anne and Kong, like Kong is king of, essentially, his kingdom is doesn't need him anymore. He doesn't have, like, we see the bones of what I'm guessing are former relatives and
right.
of his kind. He's the last of his kind. He's lonely. She's in this bleak, 30s New York City trying to be an actor. She's These two lonely souls meet and immediately see each other for who they are.
Yeah.
Anne sees in Kong, you know, herself, and vice versa. And so, and then so getting to the end of the movie, and we get up onto that Empire State Building and we know what's coming. It's just so tragic, because it isn't
It,
even like, man destroying beast. It's like the trying to it like the tragedy of, like, following your heart, kind
yeah.
of, you know and yeah, I was so much more impacted by the third act of this movie, um than I've ever been in any time that I've
Same.
ever watched this movie again and again. Like, and I was just like, oh, and the moment where his life leaves his eyes, I'm just like,
Like it hits, it hurts.
yeah, yeah,
Um, the whole classic Empire like fight, like Empire State fight,
amazing.
it's all amazing, like top to bottom. From like her going up the stairs, which is actually one of the cool things I watched, found out about from like special features. They put those stairs there because that's the staircase for her to climb up to like reach them to like the at the top there of the Empire State. They put those stairs on the outside of it because it's actually there on the Empire State Building. Those like the like barbed wire or like rebar
The
sorry
ladder,
looking stairs kind of thing
yeah, yeah,
is actually there. originally they were going to have her run around inside and they were going to shoot it from the outside to where you would like kind of see her every couple of seconds through like an opening going up. And
Yeah.
instead of losing the connection of both Kong and her basically coming in and out of shots, since they saw that there, they were like, well, we can, if it's here, we can do it on ours. And like
Yep.
they were, all they did is like kind of confirm that that was there in the 30s, like that it would have been like historically accurate. And everyone, like, at least in the know at the Empire State Building, was like, yeah, we assume so. Like, we don't remember any construction of like putting those in. So, like, it had to have been there.
That's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
so glad. Because at first I was wondering, I was like, are those like not like are those actually on the Empire State Building? And I was like, that's a convenient place for like a ladder moment here. But
Yeah,
yeah,
right. Exactly.
yeah, I was like, oh,
It does feel a little too convenient, but like on the, it like, obviously when they were shooting this was like 2003. They go to New York and go to the Empire State Building in the like making ofs, and like they show you like where the ladder is on there. And like you hear Peter Jackson ask, like, hey, was this always here? Like, was this here in 1933? And like somebody gives them like a muffled answer back, which was like clearly confirmed there.
that's
Uh,
awesome. That's
but
awesome.
but as we start wrapping up here, I've got three questions for you right now.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite character overall, a favorite line, set piece, or creature? Sorry, four.
Okay. I have answers for all of these. Or is this pick one?
No, no, tell me an answer for all of them.
Okay. My the my favorite character before was Carl Denham because I loved just the now realizing he was totally the villain. That's why I loved him back in the day because I loved playing villains. Um, and I just loved the whole egomaniac director. Like I was like, I've never been more seen. But this time around, it was a direct tie between Kong and Anne. And just like both of them, like I was like blew out of the water. I was like, these are my favorites right here. Just and them two together
It's a
is
good.
just
It's a good pairing.
it's a great pair. And like yeah, and and I just thought it was just their whole story was just beautifully done, and that's the whole reason for the movie, isn't it? So I'm like, wow, I'm like wow, I don't know why it took me 20 years to really get it, but um so that's my favorite characters. The next up is one of my favorite lines in the movie. It was this true as it was as true in 2005 as it is right now, and that's Adrian Brody's line. He doesn't want the chocolate. He doesn't he doesn't want the chocolate. When Jack Black's trying to give and he's like, it's like chocolate, huh? You know, yeah. And he's like, he doesn't want the chocolate. Okay, just it's
It's so
just
good.
it's just yeah. Wait, was there another one too? Hold on, I might have one more. Let me make. I think it's on this other page. Um, wait, where is it? 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 He doesn't want the creepy. Um, oh, the stupid guy's line. It's not my favorite line, but the stupid guy's line. Will there be boobies? And then Jack Black's, he's just immediately like, boobies?
Movie?
What?
What?
And he's like seething. He's like, what? You fucking animal? I love it. But no, he doesn't want the chocolate. Favorite line. Favorite creature? I mean, I gotta those fucking slugs. It's
Mm-hmm.
like my obsession with tornadoes. I'm terrified of tornadoes, but I'm fascinated by them. And Twister is one of my favorite movies of all time. Um, so in the same sickening, self-deprecating way, those
Yeah.
fucking slug things are maybe my favorite creatures. And then what's the last one? Or what did I miss?
Set piece. Do you have a favorite like set piece?
Uh, this is hard. I don't know if I have, because like you can literally go so many ways. Um, I I don't know if it's a set piece but I mean, just Empire State Building is just incredible. The whole sort of set of
Yeah,
New
that whole
York,
sequence. Yeah.
yeah, and then culminating in Kong,
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
Just even with the skies that
Yeah.
Mr. Jimmy doesn't appreciate, but
No.
emotionally, I love the skies are emotional. And when he goes beautiful and he's with there and he's with Anne on the top of that fucking building, best, best.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll say that.
My favorite character is Jack Black because I like the thing that stuck out to me most in this is like I was like I don't remember really watching him be like this bad guy, this villain, this asshole, like kind of. Actually, I brought this up to Ed and Colin last night when I saw them, and they were like, "Well, early in his career, he has a lot more of like a mean streak in him." And I was like, "All right, then maybe this is like the year that's the turning point." And that's where I double checked that like School of Rock also came out this year, and I was like, "Yeah, I think this is the turning point of where he's like, I'm done kind of being a bad guy, like evil, like menacing kind of guy." Um, in this role because I like to this day, I haven't really seen him be like a Carl Denham kind of role
No,
since.
he has not done it. No.
Um, one of my favorite lines is again going back to like one of my favorite like dialogue like back and forths is between Jack Black and Naomi Watts at the beginning where he's like, no, 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 I'm a movie producer. You can trust me.
where where he's just basically like, are you
Are you a
the
size four? And she's
are
like,
you
"Ugh."
but his whole like first response where he's like, are you size four? Wait, wait, no, no, I just his like that his like build up even before he says like you can trust me, I'm a movie producer. It's just like hold on a minute, that's not what I meant. Let me rephrase. It's
Yeah.
perfect. I'm like you're perfect.
Um, my favorite set piece is the T Rex and Kong fight. Like that, like them fighting, like the whole three of them versus Kong. That whole thing is like my favorite, like set piece. I'm not knocking the Empire sequence. It's just like I just
Sure.
show me monsters fighting all day, and I'll always pick that. And
Yeah.
it's not an original take on it, but like I still love the creature. I still love the look of Kong. Like this movie does not work if Kong does not look good. And if
Correct.
Kong like it falls apart completely, no matter how great anything else is, the set pieces, the backgrounds, any of that, it all falls apart if Kong isn't believable. And so like yes, that's my favorite creature from the movie. Um I guess here you got what else you
And
got?
well, actually, because I wanted to check when Jack Black did Orange County, like when Orange County came out, because I was like, Jack Black is in this movie at this point in his career, from what I remembered, because he was Jack Black. Like he had already established in my mind going into this movie. Um, but seeing uh what's it? Orange County was 2002, but School of Rock was 2003. So
Okay.
that was before. I mean, maybe he filmed.
Okay.
He probably filmed it, or no, he probably filmed this movie after School of Rock. But yeah, um, because I
Okay.
thought that's why I loved him in this role so much because like I hadn't seen him in a sort of like more of
Yeah.
a role, more of a as opposed to like the funny lead. I was like, so I was really fascinated with him being in this role, and
Yeah.
then realizing, oh my god, he's like the villain. This you know this character who basically causes all of this fucking tragedy. Um, but yeah, I had to go back because I knew I was like, but his Jack Blackness was established before this movie, and I loved that he kind of like went away from this. But then, yeah, he never went back. But that was my
Yeah.
me doing my 2-second internet research.
No, there you go. I
Really
love it.
quick. Yeah.
I guess with that, do you have any final thoughts about King Kong, the legacy of Kong? Any about this movie? Anything like that?
Um, just a fantastic tour de force
Yeah.
film. Like I just think it's, it's not like, obviously it's not like the best movie in the world or the film in the world or whatever. Um, but specifically in the world of Peter Jackson, in the world of King Kong, like I don't know. In my mind, I mean, nothing will beat the iconic 1930s movie ever, like, or replace that. But this is the story of King Kong. Like,
Yeah.
this is the story that I want of King Kong, and I think that, in the hands of Peter Jackson, it was just a great night out night out at the movies.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the most lived in King Kong. The
Yes.
1930s movie is, like 80 minutes, 80 to 90 minutes. The 70s movie is like a 2-hour movie or so. This is the most like lived in version of King Kong. If I'm
Yeah.
being honest, as watching both the extended and theatrical, like leading up to this, I actually like the theatrical a lot more than the extended. Like I like the stuff that's in the extended that's cut, it's cut for a reason.
Yeah.
It's cool to be there, but it's not super necessary for it.
Sure.
And already a movie that is like literally double the runtime of the original that inspired this. Like
Yeah.
you really get everybody's perspective and like who they are and everything, which is great because that's something that I think some movies kind of lack, or they kind of push to the side because they're like, oh, this is going to be a franchise so we can get to it in the next one, and then like the first one doesn't do that well, and it's like, well, you didn't do that well because you didn't have your story really like on screen. You were like, well, can get to it in the next one. It's like, no, tell a single story, and that you can
Right. Right.
serialize
Right.
single stories that way. Like comic books do this weekly, monthly for since 1939. What are we doing here? Anyhow,
Yeah.
that's a tangent for a whole nother day. But King Kong, I actually really, really enjoyed this rewatch, and kind of diving into it for the pod a lot more than I thought I would have. So like, I'm really excited when we did Scream 3, when we had you come on for that, I was like, we got to do something else. We got to figure out something else. Glad we were able to get our scheduling here. But with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I am Jimmy with the Triple C Collective. And with me is...
Jeff Kersey, hello. Or goodbye. Well, yeah, goodbye.
We want to thank you all for joining us today. Please like and subscribe to our video and to our channel. We hope you all stay safe. And with this, Kong is king.
Eat snacky s'mores.